Hi everyone, this is Ramalinga Prasad Kuppa. Welcome to my channel, Pharma World. Today's topic is 21 CFR Part 211.100 Written Procedures Deviations. Under Subpart F, the Production and Process Controls, this section prescribes the necessary requirements to comply. These are the minimum requirements. There can be more controls depending upon the criticality of the process and based on the risk assessment report. Let us understand. Let us understand the intent of this section. There shall be written procedures for production and process control designed to assure that the drug products have the identity, strength, quality, and purity they purport or are represented to possess. Such procedures shall include all requirements in this section. These written procedures, including any changes, shall be drafted, reviewed, and approved by the appropriate organizational units and reviewed and approved by the quality control unit. In GMP, all activities must be handled through written and approved procedures. The systems and procedures are equivalent to the constitution of any independent country. All activities must be done as per the requirements of the constitution, which is 21 CFR Part 211 in this case. Guidelines are meant to achieve a good quality of the product always. So the manufacturing systems and procedures must be drafted carefully, adequately, to make sure that the output meets the product specifications always. The procedure is similar to establishing an enforcement law in constitution. Initially, a draft will be made and circulated among all responsible departments. Each department will review the procedures against the guidelines and ensure that the requirements are met. After successful review and approval, the draft would become finally an approved procedure. The approval will be done by the constitutional head to make it a law. In the pharmaceutical manufacturing, it will be mostly done by the quality assurance function. When it becomes an approved procedure, it is supposed to be followed without any deviation. No makeshift changes are acceptable in the system or procedure. But in case of any changes for improvements, it should be through a change control system. Same procedure for drafting changes, reviewing the changes for expected benefits. Then it will be submitted for final approval by the constitutional authority, which is QA. So the reviewed system will be effective from the date of approval and necessary training on changes. Written production and process control procedures shall be followed in the execution of the various production and process control functions and shall be documented at the time of performance. Any deviation from the written procedures shall be recorded and justified. As explained, it is mandatory to follow the procedure with integrity. No shortcuts will be acceptable. But there is a provision. If any deviation by any accident or any reason happens, the details of deviation must be recorded. The data should be evaluated for any adverse impact on the quality of the output at that stage. Necessary corrective actions and preventive actions should be executed to close out any such deviations. Let us understand the intent of this section 211.101. Written production and control procedures shall include the following, which are designed to assure that the drug products produced have the identity, strength, quality, and purity they purport or are represented to possess. Let us see how the written procedures should be drafted and what it should contain. The focus is to get product with identity, strength, quality and purity always. The batch shall be formulated with the intent to provide not less than 100% of the labeled or established amount of active agent. This is important point. For any drug product, there will be a range of content of API. For example, for a dosage form which claims to have 500 milligrams of API per each unit, the range generally will be between 90% and 110% of the label claim. So 90% of 500 milligrams is 450 milligrams and 550 milligrams at 110%. Since there is a lower range of 450 milligrams, it should never be targeted at 450 milligrams per tablet. It should always be targeted at 500 milligrams only. Components of drug product manufacturing shall be weighed, measured, or subdivided as appropriate. If a component is removed from the original container to another, the new container shall be identified with the following information. The production process involves addition of specific amounts of several active agents, APIs, and inactive materials to make the dosage form. So, it is necessary to make sure that the required inputs are weighed correctly and supervised independently by another person. Doer is the one person who directly does the weighing of materials, and checker is the one who witnesses the activity directly at the time of operation by physical presence. Please note that such critical witnesses cannot be signed off at later time retrospectively. Certain materials are issued in whole original container. Some are dispensed in smaller quantities from the original container. What kind of information is required to be posted on such partly dispensed input is described in the next slide. Let us see. Component name or item code. This is obvious requirement. Receiving or control number. This is required to track the information on input that goes into the process. Weight or measure in new container. This is also a process requirement. Batch for which the component was dispensed, including its product name, strength, and lot number. This is important. It should be clear on the dosage form into which these items go in. Weighing, measuring, or subdividing operations for components shall be adequately supervised. Each container of component dispensed to manufacturing shall be examined by a second person to assure that the following requirements are met. This is also an obvious point as described in the previous slide. The component was released by the quality control unit. This is a statutory requirement for GMP. As a simple common sense also, any material going into the dosage form should be evaluated for its quality, for suitability in the process. The evaluation is done by the quality control unit by testing for various specifications. The weight or measure is correct as stated in the batch production records. This is a process requirement. The containers are properly identified if the weighing, measuring, or subdividing operations are performed by automated equipment under section 211.68. Only one person is needed to assure paragraphs C1, C2, and C3 of this section. If automated equipment is used, it shall be qualified and routinely calibrated, inspected according to written program designed to assure proper performance. All the written records of those calibration checks and inspections shall be maintained. Input to and output from the computer system or related systems of formulas or other records or data shall be checked for accuracy. This exercise is necessary to establish that the computer system works as expected. All such equipment should be qualified and the process should be validated to establish the for the exact performance as expected. Each component shall either be added to the batch by one person and verified by a second person, or if the components are added by the automated equipment under section 211.68, only verified by one person is adequate. Since there are better controls, the doer and checker may sign as required. I hope that the explanation of these sections is useful for your understanding. Check whether or not all these intricate points are incorporated into your routine SOPs. Thanks for watching. For more videos, please do subscribe, like, and share. Also, please leave a message in the comments box for any further support. Thank you.